Yo, good morning. What's going on, everyone? It's Wednesday. It's 11 o'clock in the morning on New York time. So we're here live at the store, 42 West 18th Street. This is Adorama itself. It's not a green screen. Come through. We'll talk about what's happening later today. But I got this guy with me, Jared Silber, who is the team photographer for the New York Rangers. Like what? Like totally representing.
Always got to represent.
I appreciate you coming through. Before we get going, guys, you can check out his work here while we're talking. Jared Silber. Actually, I can't believe you got your own name out of the entire world. You actually secured it.
Haven't met another Silber, so I got lucky.
They're a species. So I want to give a quick thanks to our sponsor, SanDisk. You guys know SanDisk. It's like the industry standard as far as memory goes, from RAID drives to memory cards, Super Type B, SD. You're rocking SanDisk for what you're doing. So go check out the links down below for all the SanDisk stuff. And I also want to give a quick thanks to our coffee sponsor, Gotham. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Cheers. What'd you get?
Ice, light, and sweet.
He was like, I want caramel.
I didn't have caramel, so we're going with that today.
It's all good. Thanks a lot, Gotham. If you guys are in the city, they're on 19th Street, one block up from Adorama. Go there, say Adorama sent you, say what's up. They're good people, and it's owned by a photographer and filmmaker. So you're supporting the our community here. Okay, guys. I'll keep up Jared's social for right now. So you guys know I'm not a sports guy, but shooting is shooting, and being a pro is being a pro. And I think, first of all, we were talking a lot back and forth about what it's like to even be at a level you're at, only a certain amount of people. You were saying something about like 30-something people are in your position.
32 teams in the league, so 32 team photographers. That's it.
But there's only one photographer. You have photographers that work underneath you.
We have a secondary that shoots with us, Michelle Farsi. She's incredible, helps out with a lot of the sponsorship stuff, secondary shooting. So for me, I shoot on the end that the Rangers' offense is twice. So when they switch ends, she'll be covering the offense in the second period. And yeah, so it's a team of two that is putting out all the photo content for the Rangers.
And this is, like, first of all, it's amazing work, by the way.
Thank you.
We were talking before we got going live here. So you think that you're shooting outside the rink, you're thinking that you're using the available light, but in the reality, you're plugging into strobes in the ceiling.
I'm on strobes.
And you're telling me you're one of the few that still does this.
So when I started, I think there were a lot more guys using them. I don't want to give you a number. I would say there's probably 8 to 10 now still using strobes.
Yeah.
I just like the look of them better.
Yeah.
And our available lighting isn't as crisp as some other arenas. So I still prefer the strobes, but there are challenges that come with that I'm sure we'll get to.
Let's talk about it, because when we say shooting strobes, they're in the ceiling. Like you're plugging into basically a network that's grid set.
Yep.
How many strobes would you say are up there?
So we have 2 sets for hockey, so I can use both of those. Each set has 9 packs on them. So 18 total packs, lights, and yeah, could hook them up. Do one set for remotes. The other one is for my handheld for the game. And
they're straight down.
Straight down, surrounding the rink.
Right.
And I get one shot every 2.8 seconds. So you got to be on point.
So Speedotrons, if you guys aren't aware, a normal Speedotron pack is about this big. Okay, it's heavy. It's probably, I'm not even kidding you, it's probably the size of 2 cinder blocks. Probably.
Yeah.
And they take 6 heads a piece. They're 2,400 watt seconds. I started my career on them. They have a slower flash duration. You've got to be aware of that, especially for what you're doing.
Yep.
So you're kind of playing this game of more power versus shorter flash duration when you're shooting. Yep. But what I think is so cool about hockey with strobe is you've got all that bounce off the ice to really fill up the player.
The colors, if you see a strobed versus a non-strobed image, the color is completely different.
Well, there was this shot.
They just pop.
Yeah, I mean,
that's available, actually.
This is available.
That's available.
But this one has got to be strobe, right?
That one's strobed, yep. So that was one of the famous moments from playoffs. Went to throw a hit. Everyone thought he was going through the glass. Just launched himself. And if I don't get it at that moment, that shot's gone. I get one shot. The other guys that are shooting around the rink are on burst fire, can shoot 20 frames of that. And luckily got the moment, but I have to be focused and on point the whole game.
But 20 frames of meh versus the frame of amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
and
come
look,
on.
could he be a little bit higher up? He went head first into the board. So if I got that a half a second later, his legs are behind his back, his face is in the boards. But I mean, strobe, can't ask for anything better than that. I'll take that every day.
So when you're trying to be kind of sort of predictive, I'd say, what are you looking for? Are you looking for like shoulder gestures? Are you looking for posture? Are you looking for the puck? Like what is it that you're actually?
This goes for, I would say, all sports photography. Know the sport you're shooting. So I played hockey growing up. I've watched the Rangers and NHL teams my whole life. I could tell you pretty much what the guys are going to do as I'm keeping an eye on the game. So I know he's going to go for a shot.
Mm-hmm.
I know Truba, in this case, our captain, is going to make the hit. That's his motto, is he just comes in, throws the big hit. So if you wait 2 seconds after the guy shoots, he's going to just try to take him out. And that's that moment. So anyone who says you can't really watch sports while you're photographing it, I don't fully agree, because for me, I'm watching at the same time so I can predict what I think is going to happen.
Do you ever predict as a fan hoping, but you're wrong? You ever go like
all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
It's like a morality.
You also have the moment where someone, you know what he's going to do. He'll score the goal, and then he just will turn around and celebrate the other direction. You can't control.
Yeah.
You can't control what happens, right? But especially on strobes, I have to decide in a split second: am I going to get him shooting on the net, or am I going to pause, hope he scores, and get the celebration? So I kind of calculate all this stuff split seconds during the game. It just goes through my head as I'm seeing him come down the ice. What do I think is going to happen? I have to keep an eye on if someone's open on the other side of the net for a pass, because if I don't track that guy and he gets the puck, you miss the shot. So
it's kind of interesting because like I think a lot of people assume within the world of like 20, 30, 120 frames per second that sports photography is becoming more of a spray and pray and see it if you get it afterwards. But you have to be deliberate because the flash has to recycle for him. He can't do that burst mode. He has to nail it. You were like literally sniping shots at this point.
Yep. There's a lot that you miss, but for the most part,
they don't know you missed it. They don't know you missed it.
No one knows you missed it. That's the good thing. And if it's out of focus, you delete it. Hopefully you got something else, but it happens.
You know what's funny though is he's telling me that the Speedotron splash systems in the ceiling they've had are the same ones for 75 years now.
I don't know how many years, but it feels like it. I mean, the guy I took over for before starting was there 16, 17 years. They were there the whole time he was there, and they just keep replacing parts, and yeah, they're just very old.
Speedotrons,
but they hold
awesome,
up. They hold up. So
yeah, I was telling you, my Speedotrons, I was fixing them with parts from Radio Shack for half my career and Granger, and it was the Chevy of lighting, right? Mm-hmm. Like it would just get you where you got to go. It wasn't frills or another story, but it'd be amazing if MSG invested in like a little more of a modern system. Do you think that if they did, you'd have to take a while to adjust your habits, or you would just be like, no?
I don't think so. If you could do it on these, which I would say is relatively difficult, then something newer could only benefit you.
Easier.
I don't see how it could make that part of it any more difficult.
When you're doing strobe, are you already knowing the exposure, or do you have to go out there before everyone gets there with a light meter and kind of see what's hitting?
No, so we do maybe light metering twice a season before it starts, make sure all the lights are good, because there's so many concerts, other events at Madison Square Garden that when they're working in the ceiling, they could just bump a light, do whatever. So I have to make sure before the season everything's lined up, and then we do it about the midway point again and make sure. But before the game, I just hook up my pocket wizards to it, do test shots. At this point, I could basically tell based on the image if a light is out or not, just because I've been doing it for a while. Okay. But you could see them in the ceiling if they're not firing. So my job at the beginning of my day is make sure those are working, because otherwise I have to get help from building crew to go turn those on and make sure they're working in time.
It's a huge ordeal what you're doing. I mean, it's not. David Bergman's in the chat. What's up, Dave? How you been, man? He was on the show if you guys want to check older episodes. But Union House at MSG, I used those Speedotrons 30 years ago.
There you go.
How many of you in the chat aren't even 30? Just make David feel old and let us know in the chat. Also,
we're just slightly older than that, so that helps you.
Listen, guys, we're live for a reason. If you have any questions, let us know. Roger Manning's actually asking, how about remotes? I'm guessing you're talking about remote cameras. Do you fixate more?
I do a lot of them.
How many would you do?
My thing. Try to do more and more each year, but it's a matter of how much gear I have and how many slots are available. Our building's a little limited in our remote spots, but every single game you'll find me doing an overhead. We could pull up some images of that. We have dasher camera. So that's net cam. That's the main one. That is the go-to. You can't beat it if you go to the bottom one. So that's what you're looking for in a net cam shot pretty much. Now, this was a goal scored against the Rangers, so this, and it's the Islanders scoring, so this photo makes me kind of sick, but that's what you're looking for if you're going to get the shot. That's essentially what you're looking for from the net cam. This is my biggest producer, is the net cam.
This is nuts. I mean, you got the eyes staring right at the puck that he just missed. Like the psyche is probably
bounced in right off his shoulder or something, I think, on this play. And then you got the Islander guy, kind of looking at it, celebrating with his mouth open. But you don't beat the ceiling at MSG, right? So no one else that does net cams gets that look. And that's what I love.
As a non-jock guy, I'm just going to say this goalie had one job. I don't understand what the problem was.
He's the best goalie in the league, so it happens.
He's going to come over here.
It happens.
What's going on here?
Okay, so this is the cutout. So this is what we shoot through at hockey, just to give everyone an example. So it's a very tiny cutout, basically just fits your lens. And that's my view for the game. And then if you look to the right, there's a little...
through it.
You can go a little ways through it.
Okay.
Like if the play isn't really right, you're not supposed to. The league keeps an eye on it. It's not a good idea. You don't want to be the one that has your lens get hit. Let's put it that way. So keep your camera a little bit back. Be safe. I take a little bit more liberty than some probably should, just because
you know everybody.
You know people, but I also am comfortable at tracking things. So I know when I need to pull back and when I could take a little bit more risk. But if you look on the right side of that image.
This one?
Yep. So you see there's like a little door.
This right here.
So we have to use those now. They keep a very close eye on it. So when the play is within like 10 feet of that corner, you have to slide it shut, wait for the play to clear. So we used to, sticks would come through, pucks would come through. Nowadays, you close it. You can't do fisheye stuff anymore. I used to love the stuff in the corner with the fisheye.
I mean, you're getting your fisheyes here. You're getting some of that.
Yep. So that's the fisheye. But yes, remotes are my go-to thing. That's what I love. Overhead, net cam, dasher is pretty much all I have at the building to do.
And none of those are strobe. That's all available.
I do strobed overhead. I've done strobe net cam, but there's so much action at the net. I just prefer doing available and getting everything.
Sure, yeah.
We also have a lot of interference issues. So if you've never seen the video crew for video reviews, and then they have the mounted camera inside that they could show you on TV, they have all their wires inside the net. And that interferes with my signal to fire the remote camera. So there's games where
you didn't get it.
Nothing will fire from the camera. And if you do strobed, you're already limiting yourself.
Is it a full interference, or you can just try different channels until you hit something that might be more
Usually
reliable?
It's a full interference, and that has to be in 2.5 hours before the game.
Yeah.
And you have no way of testing it. So you can go out and take your memory cards out between the second and third period. So you don't know if it's working until the game's almost over. So it's just...
What's your heart like when something like is a major play and you're just like, please tell me that remote camera got it?
When I first started...
Yeah. How long ago, by the way, was that? Because how long?
So this is going to be, going into the season will be my 10th or 11th season as a team photographer. Actually, we could get into that. I took a semester off in college. I interned at NHL Images here in New York. I was basically archiving photos for them, doing photo editing.
Everybody started as an archivist, I feel.
Yeah. So I got my feet wet in photo editing, which is super important. Felt like I did a good job there. At the end, they were like, anything we could do for you? And I straight up said, do you know anyone at the Rangers? And they said, we'll get in touch. Reached out. They needed a photo editor.
Nice.
So the timing was just perfect.
Wow.
When I edited for 2 seasons, the team photographer at the time helped me out, would show me how he sets up the remotes, showed me all this stuff.
When he says that, you're talking more pulling on the fly, like pulling the shots on the fly. You're not like, he's not sitting there photoshopping these things.
No.
Yeah. You're just, it's more like a photo mechanic kind of like.
When I'm editing?
Yeah.
So yeah, when I was editing for the team photographer, he'll drop his cards to me, load them into the computer, crop, caption, photo mechanic.
Yeah.
Code replacement, you put all the players' names, and then we send them to Getty Images.
Yeah, it's more of a process rather than like actual editing. I think people, when they hear that, they always think you're like sitting there adjusting hues. And it's like,
Yeah,
no, dude, like,
no, it's a
chill.
little bit of a complicated process, but if you want to be a sports photographer, that would be my number one tip is learn editing. That's how I started. And it was actually important for me because when I was archiving, we would get takes from every team photographer in the league, and I would look at them and I would study the photos, and they were all on strobes at the time. And I would be like, okay, like this is how this guy shoots. This is the action. And I used to watch all the games, so like I would know like a play that happened. So studying that in the office helped me now.
Yeah.
And when I was there, I got the opportunity to shadow someone. And I knew at the time that strobes, if I ever got to this position, would be important. So I actually went shadowing the person and shot single shot. And then I compared the images, and the timing was pretty even. And if I could time it at that point in my life, felt confident. So when I moved to the Rangers, we'll get back to that, edited for 2 seasons. When the photographer retired, I went to the person in the office I was in charge and said, give me the chance, give me preseason. If you don't like what I do, I'll go back to editing. And luckily it all worked out, and 10 seasons later, still going.
Yeah, but you see, you make your own opportunities, right? Like you can get into places and do, but he could have stayed a photo editor. He could have just kept going, right? I think people forget that it's up to you in the end to get going forward, and then your proof of concept. You're always auditioning in this industry.
Yep.
Always. Before we get more into that, there are some questions in the chat.
Yeah.
Michael Rice is asking, when you get gear, does the organization buy the gear, or do you have to use your own personal gear?
So most photographers around the league, I would say, use their own gear. I'm lucky that at MSG, they have a stockpile of gear that I get to use.
It's the stuff they find in the stands. They're just like,
It's the top gear. It's the top gear you could get. I get to use it. I do use my personal stuff for the strobes,
yeah.
but for the actual game action, it's stuff through them. And it's not always their gear, but they do have a stockpile if I need an extra lens, or I want to do an extra mode, or need extra arms to clamp cameras to in the ceiling. We do that. But
And you were saying you're still using DSLR for the strobe stuff.
yeah, so I still use a Canon 1DX Mark II.
Yep.
I get a little bit better shutter speed on that than on the mirrorless cameras, the flash sync. So I still use that, and the quality for the strobes is a little bit better still.
So there's also Wendy's asking, always been interested in this. What settings are you able to get away with when you have such a powerful strobe? What settings are you able to? Oh, so you're asking if you can shoot wider open or lower ISOs? Is that what you're asking?
So my settings for the game are usually 2/50th of a second shutter speed around f9, and then 320 ISO,
Yeah.
somewhere around that range.
You're not playing games with depth of field. You're
Nope.
just you're about stopping it.
Just about stopping the action. And for me personally, strobed hockey photos are some of the most beautiful images.
Yeah, I gotta say, like it's really apparent. It's really beautiful. Roger Manning's asking, any banding or flickering issues you need to deal with? Well, if you're using strobes,
The biggest issue I get with strobes without using high-speed sync is ghosting.
yeah.
So
Because you're
I
at
don't
250th still.
I don't think I have a great photo to show of that, but it's basically
It's shutter drag.
it's shutter drag basically. Yeah.
But if you're only at 250th and you're still shooting high speed action, and there's any ambient light still in that frame at 250th, and you're trying to stop action in milliseconds, you're still going to see like shoulders, probably elbows and stuff. Anything bright colored that's reflecting a lot of light that's already existing is going to have a ghost to it, which I'm a fan of.
It actually doesn't happen as much as it should with the settings I'm using, but
You're on white ice. The ambient light is flying, dude.
these guys fly too. You don't know the speed at which these guys move, so if you get a little ghosting, it just is what it is.
Do you ever get to like jump on the ice with them and be like, all right, guys, let's knock around a puck for a little bit? Like, get out of here, Jared. You're not one of us. Get out of here.
No, there's some. They actually do some outdoor events, and they've done some outdoor practices at Central Park, so can have some
cool.
good moments there.
And you shoot.
Yeah,
That's
do all
awesome.
that stuff. I'm on on a lot of that. I've done a lot of the outdoor hockey games, so you're out there while they're with their families practicing. So you get some moments, but nothing like that.
Do you do like the media stuff? Like if they go like Good Day New York or something like that, do you go shoot there? Or
No, not usually. That's usually just that group, or they'll send someone from social media to video it.
Do you stick to MSG or you travel with them?
Before COVID, I did a lot more traveling.
Okay.
So after COVID, it got limited travel for playoffs. If I am in another state, like my parents are retired in Florida, if I'm down there and they're playing Tampa and I want to go shoot the game, I could put in for a credential, but pretty much I just travel with the team postseason.
Is there any arenas you favor more than others photo wise? Like, is there just like some have an amazing ceiling, some have better strobes?
For me, it's not about that. I like it's about the atmosphere.
Okay.
In hockey, you don't, for me, the atmosphere in hockey is some of the best in sports. Montreal, one of the loudest places you could shoot. Carolina's very loud, but it's always fun going to the other buildings. It's about the energy at the other buildings.
Do you ever get like a little worried and you want to scout it even more because you haven't been there, or it's a building or a rink you're not familiar with?
No, so when I travel, I'm on available light. I have my camera body, my 70 to 200. If you're trying to shoot hockey, that's I'd say the main lens to invest in. 70 to 200 could cover everything. Have that. That is the most simple shooting I could do because I just show up, go to the photo hole the other photographer tells me, follow the game.
Wow.
Whereas when we're at home, I have a lot of other responsibilities. And
so what would you say is like a second body lens? You have the 7200. Do you do the quick like 8 to 15 wide or something weird like that? So
it used to be the fisheye until the slider door.
Rules.
Something honestly longer. 28 to 300 I like.
Yeah.
28 to 300. I like getting the close up. There's actually a shot somewhere on the Instagram. It's back. It'll be of our defenseman, Ryan Lindgren. If you go down.
I'm going to switch over.
Okay. Yeah, right there.
Where? So
to the left, see the cut. So this is shot with a longer glass. I think it was a 100 to 400.
Wow.
And I'm in at 400, and you could just get some detailed stuff around the face-off dot, and I love those types of images.
Well, that's the stuff we never get to see, right? It's when you're in there. I think that's some of the best sports photography. As a guy who doesn't know sports, is getting the perspective points you don't get to see. So even as a portrait guy, people always ask me why I shoot so close. I'm like, because that girl would never let me this close.
Yep.
I want to give a perspective that people just can't get. This is unbelievable though. And the black, oh geez, man, that black eye.
So a 70 to 200 will cover everything you need to cover the game.
Okay.
But if you want to do artistic stuff or get a little bit more creative or some details, I'd say get a little bit longer glass and something smaller. It has to fit through the photo hole, be able to shoot through the photo hole. So the big like 400, 2.8 that you'll use at football, not going to be able to use. So like that 28, yeah,
it's like
you don't want to spend that money, but like the 28 to 300 or the 100 to 400s. Perfect for that.
Do you ever have to like worry about what's happening with the organization themselves? Like, for example, if you know that there's like a trade coming or something like that, do you go, I better focus on this guy before he's gone forever? Or or one of our guys here is a huge fan. He's like, talk about the announcer that's retiring. Are you going to do anything for that?
Sam Rosen sadly will be retiring. I don't know what will be taking place. I'm sure there will be. Sure, there will be something. Could definitely look into that. So, sure, something will be taking place. I don't know what yet. They'll tell me what we have to do as the time comes. So no pre-planning on that really. In terms of guys getting traded, if they're on their way out, you've gotten all the coverage you need of them. It's the new players. You got to get their new headshot. You got to pile up as many photos as you can when they get here for advertisements and stock and social media and all that. So the new players is a big focus.
And you got to get used to like their habits.
You got to get used to their habits. And like I said, most of the guys on the team, they score a goal. I know what they're doing. One of our guys always removes his mouthpiece. So if you shoot too quick, his hand's in front of his face.
Oh, interesting.
And it ruins the photo.
Interesting.
So you get to know your players and try to get that moment.
Do you ever kick them like more conceptual stuff, like editorials? Like you're like, it'd be great if we had just like a bunch of birthday cakes on the ice and nothing. No,
it's New York.
Come on.
I just show up, shoot the game.
Come on.
There's some stuff. So our tunnel that the players walk out.
Yeah.
it only fits one person, but I would love to get some shots of like the guys coming out. So like I would love to pop in between and follow them out to the ice, but clearing it. And then it's like you ruin their routine. Like hockey players are so superstitious. They do the same thing every game. They have the same thing. So I am conscious to not get in the way of their routine, and that
You'd probably have to stage it.
you would have to like clear it, and I'm sure, and do all that. But yeah, I mean, the editorial stuff would be amazing.
Yeah.
Something I would love to try in the future. But
is there another sport that you've always been eyeballing? Like, I'd love to shoot that, because we were talking. You shoot a UFC. You shoot mixed martial
shoot
arts.
UFC. I've shot the bull riding when it comes to
How's
MSG.
that?
I mean, it would be cooler if the bull still had the giant horns and can impale someone, but no, I'm just kidding.
That would be cool.
It would be a little bit more dangerous, but you know, it's something different. I've never done it before, and they came to the building. I think it's there every year, but did it once. It's very cool.
Is there any sport that you're eyeballing?
Eyeballing, you know, I would love to do more soccer,
Yeah.
a little bit of golf,
First, you got to call it football, and then they'll let you shoot it.
football. Exactly.
Roger Mann is asking, any scene-setting shots you try to get every game? That's interesting. So is there anything that's like kind of like getting a group shot before they go or whatever? Or
So
do you shoot locker room stuff? Like, can you get them like getting ready?
So I could do jerseys in the locker room. We're not cleared to do them setting up in the locker room, which would be amazing if we could. Again, that's something I am looking at doing in the future.
Yeah.
The most I try to set in terms of scene setting is when I get there, again, set up the remotes, line all that stuff up. But then I shoot detailed shots of the building. So fans coming in, watching warm-ups. The players are in warm-ups. We have a lot of the families, the players' families that watch. So we'll get them coming over, kissing their kids, talking to their wives, girlfriends, stuff like that. And then warm-ups is kind of the scene setter. If we do for playoffs, let's say they do the t-shirt drops, the towel drops. So we shoot the building covered in the t-shirts.
Cool.
Try to show that. So in terms of scene setting, that would be that.
Is there like ever like fan moments? Like if someone's like proposing marriage, do you try to rush and get a shot of that? Or it's like, that's like for the video guys?
They actually do a lot of that post-game.
Really?
They do on ice photos after the game sometimes. And a lot of the proposals happen then. So it's not so much in the seats. Those
Okay.
are like pre-planned things. They come down and then someone else takes those photos. The best fan stuff is goals. You can't beat the celebrations, fans cheering after they score a goal, banging on the glass. Playoffs, they have the rally towels. Nothing beats that.
How's your relationship with the players? Like, are you using it on a personal level? Is there guys that just like you never going to jive with? You're just doing the job?
Honestly, hockey players, the nicest athletes, easiest athletes to work with.
Well, they're mostly Canadian, right?
A lot of them are.
Yeah. So, it's like,
So that is part of it.
I'm sorry. You know?
But New York, they know me. Doesn't mean by name or personally. I don't have a personal connection with them, but I'm around them so often doing things that they know if I'm there, the camera's in there, they don't care. They let me do my job.
Yeah.
They enjoy the photos
This guy?
themselves.
Nah.
So in terms of that, that's all I could ask for. I don't need to know them personally, but it helps. It helps that they let me do my job and get close to them. And
I think that's
Love
the
that
best
with them.
part is that they know you're the guy. They're just like, okay.
Yep.
You know, it's not like, who are you? What? Oh, they're like,
every time they
you.
see me, they come up, say hello, shake your hand,
Yeah.
fist bump, whatever.
You're part
Nicest guys, you're part of it.
Yeah.
We were doing, like I said, that outdoor practice at Central Park. A few people were nervous to go in the locker room. I just jumped in there. They know that I'm around. They start putting eye black on me. We're going outside. Like, you
Sick.
just fit in. So, you know, like they're very nice guys. Not one person is mean. If you need to do like we do, we're about to have our media day coming up in a few weeks. You do the headshots. Like, they're just easy guys. You could tell them what to do and they listen.
They're professionals. Crazy.
Professionals.
Mike Rice is also asking, what tips do you have for people that shoot high school hockey in these gyms not so great with no photo holes, no lighting?
That's the most difficult part. Is the lighting is so off. No photo holes, like you said.
Cut something.
Try to get some height would be my. So go to the top of the bleachers, shoot down. It's not the best stuff. Talk to the teams if it's a son, a daughter, a friend. Try to get on the bench. There's usually no problem at that level getting on the bench or in the penalty box and trying to do some shots that way. That's what I would suggest.
Getting high. That's a really good suggestion. I wouldn't have thought of like, actually, I guess how else would you have, right?
You got to get over the boards. You don't want to shoot through the glass, especially at those types of venues. So I find a lot of times around center ice, if you go to the top of the bleachers, you'll have a clean shot.
Yeah, shooting through glass, like that kind of glass, you'll have like those murky shot. And then people do this at the zoo. They shoot like the gorillas through the glass and they wonder why it's all like blurry and double image. And you're like, you're shooting through disgusting, horrible, non-clear glass. Like it's not going to work.
And if you're shooting on a non-flat piece, forget about it. Like if you're going to shoot through the glass at one of those rinks, make sure it's a flat piece, not one of the curved corners.
And our own Fernando is asking, how does media day work?
So our media day, it's usually at a hotel. We have a bunch of rooms. They do, if you go to a game on the Garden Vision screen, you'll see after they score, they'll have a cut scene. So they have a bunch of stations that each player has to hit.
Okay.
So for myself and the photo team, we just have the standard NHL headshots. So they come in, it's on the provided background by the NHL. We put them in a generic blue jersey, home jersey, no numbers, nothing, don't want jewelry showing. Take their headshot, waist up, shoulders cropped in, and then those get sent to Getty and the league, and they use those on the broadcast.
So it's school picture day at a nice hotel.
Basically, school picture day at a nice hotel, exactly.
Is that where the thumbnail shot for you came from? Was that media day, the thumbnail shot?
There
you go, Fernando. That was a media day shot.
We need a test at some point, so unfortunately, I'm the model that day.
You know what I use for my test shot? Because I work alone. I put my hand out. I have so many colors on it. I can judge what's going to happen. I'm like, all right, I got to adjust this and we're good. And that's usually what I go about it. Is there like ever a moment that you knew you needed a shot that you couldn't deliver? Like there was like some game winning thing. It wasn't in for some reason the remote camera didn't work. And then what do you tell them when they're looking for shots of it if you didn't get it?
That's a good question. So the biggest thing in terms of telling them when I don't get it is I try to let them know I'm on strobe. Like things are going to happen. Yes, I should get the moment. I pride myself in getting that moment, but it's not realistic to get it 100% of the time. Trying to think if there was a shot I didn't get. You know, there's a lot of times, I was telling you a little bit before we went on air, it's pretty funny, but if you follow my social media, I'll post before the game some shots of my remote setup. And I'm like, oh, people are like, can't wait to see the shot. And that camera just won't fire. And then it's like, hey, where are those photos? So that's one of the things. Like sometimes the remotes just don't work after this many years. You hook it up, you set it there. If it works, it works. You get what you could get. Again, hockey, I set it up on one net, or you can set it up on two to cover yourself. Some days I pick one net. The other game I pick the other one. The action could happen at the wrong side. You just do not know. The worst one I ever had was the game's going on constantly. You only get a break, TV timeouts, but I'm editing photos at that point in time, and then intermission, which is 20 minutes. And the game's going on, and, you know, like most jobs, you could just run to the bathroom, do what you got to do. I was like, I missed a goal because I went to the bathroom. Like, that is the worst thing. And then they're like, where's the goal? And I was like, guys, I just wasn't in the spot, couldn't get it. It happens. You can't worry about it.
Yet another reason to just use AI instead of us.
There's 82 games. There's 41 home games.
I'm kidding.
There's 41 home games. Yeah. You'll get the next one. That's all I could say.
Why not set in both nets all the time then?
I do a lot of the time. You know what it is? Time constraints for things and the amount of gear. So if I want to do a dasher, a net cam, and one overhead, there's not enough stuff to put on the other net. So do I want to skip a dasher camera for two overheads? It's that playoffs, I try to cover everything, but that would be one of the reasons to not do it on both all the time.
So as someone that's so invested as like a fan, like you're into the game, what is it like having to document the losses, right? Like you're watching the crush, the complete drop. Like, do you have to power through it yourself?
So I say the worst thing is being a fan and working for the team because it's soul crushing sometimes, but you got to take the fan out of it when you're working. For me, sometimes I'm too professional in that instance. But what's funny is the players, and when you're around them, if there's like a devastating loss, they just move on.
Well, they're
And you're watching, you're seeing fans online upset, and sometimes I'm shooting and I'm like, how do you let them come back and you lose the game? And then you see the players and they're like, we'll get the next one. Like, we're not worried.
they're pros.
And they're just professional athletes. They come in the next game and they win the next game. That's all you could ask. But it is funny that like you see how invested fans are. And then when you're around the players, don't get me wrong, they're fully invested, but they can move on from that loss like fans don't.
Do you ever get like photo nerd trolls that are like, "Oh, I would have done it like this. I would have shot it from this side or something."
No,
oh, you're
actually,
lucky.
no. Yeah,
You're very
lucky in that instance. No, everyone's great.
You're very lucky. Let me tell you, because you trolls exist. It's all good though. Oh man. So where do we go from here, right? Like how far do you take just being the Rangers team photographer? Like, are you trying to do this for the whole stretch? Is there like something you're aspiring to? Are you trying to put a book out of your work? Like, where are we going?
So I don't own the rights to my images. My contract, the league has a contract with the team. I have a contract with the team. So my images are owned by the Rangers and by the NHL. All my photos go to Getty Images.
How does that feel knowing that every shot? It's amazing, but it's
You know
not
what?
yours.
Like,
it's a job.
it is, you get used to it. Where it hurts a little bit is there's some companies that like are partnered and they sell photos that they'll get signed and whatever, and it's 3 times more for one photo than you make for a game, and they're selling thousands of copies.
Like if it ends up on a trading card or like a video game cover.
Yeah,
or
but they're a
something.
league partner, so like that's what you get paid for.
Right,
They
right.
take the rights. So in terms of like a book and stuff like that, not really in the cards. For a lot of these guys, they've been doing it years and years, and you do it till you retire. And I'm hoping that I have that luxury. It's nothing set in stone, like corporate stuff that I don't have control over. But I would hope that it's similar to the other guys, and as long as I can keep up and be comfortable, I could hopefully be in this position.
There's some young kid watching right now, just like fuming at the screen, like I'm gonna take him out. I would take this job. You'll see, it happens.
You know what? to that point, a big reason I wanted to come on here is I said if I ever got to this point, I want to help. There were a lot of guys and ladies, but some that I work with today that probably don't remember, that didn't give the time of day to help. And everyone in this business is very insecure and worried about their jobs.
Yep.
I said if I made it, I don't want to be one of those people. So like you could ask me questions. I try to respond as best I can. I respond to formal requests like, hey, I'm in high school or I'm in college. Like, how do you do this? But like, I get so many things if people are like, I'm bringing my camera to the game. I want to shoot a game. Can you put in a credential? Like, you're not going to get a response. That's not how you get things done. Show you have interest in learning.
Yeah.
And yeah, but to the people starting out, just keep putting it. It's a very tough business to get into. A lot of guys don't necessarily want to give out help and info, and just keep pushing. Again, I started editing. Look for internships. Biggest thing I could say, if you're still in college or in high school and you're looking to do this, get an internship with a team, an organization, a company.
Assist.
People
People have this weird concept that they think, well, I want to go shoot. I will go try to go shoot. It's like, no. Like, get in where you can, show that people want to work with you, then start, evolving a little bit.
I didn't take a photo for 3 years
I believe
of hockey. I played my whole life. I never shot hockey once growing up, like besides a few of my friends, like high school games, college games. But I took the time to learn the editing, make sure I knew that, and
Which is
studied
so
other people's work. And then when the time came, but that's what I'm saying, the internship and the editing, learn the editing, man. There's times I still fill in for people that need photo editors. Why not? I mean, it's a different way to go about it, but it's not all about shooting. Learn the other things, and that's just as important. These photos have to be out so quick these days. You don't understand. Like, the play happens, people are sending them from their phone.
you're shooting them to wire. Are you kidding me? Like,
So if you can be efficient editing, like I have 2 minutes when they clean the ice, I get like 8 photos out. But if I don't, I'm waiting till the end of the period. If you could learn editing and get in that way and learn the back end, it'll help you out.
And that just being able to see everybody else's shots as an editor is like your front row at what works and what doesn't work from all these stars at once. Like what a privilege. Unbelievable. Pulling up the ladder behind you after you get somewhere is the worst. And I think we're in an era where people are understanding you got to give back. And like, you're not the only one. When I was coming up in the commercial world, I always tell this story, like they had these studio guys would tear up the Polaroids before I got to look at them. Yeah, we shot Polaroids as a preview, and they just wouldn't let you see what they were working on. It was so annoying. There's a question from Kurt in the chat.
I was just reading that one.
Where are the rink are you setting your dasher cam, and did you come to that decision through trial and error, figuring out where the best place to be? So where do you put the dasher cam?
So the dashers are preset location by the league. If you watch a game where the trapezoid is behind the net for the goalies to play the puck, they're right at the ends of the trapezoids. They're two little cutouts. At our building, Garden Vision, the Jumbotron, takes one for video, and then I have access to the other two, so I have one on each end if I want to use it. But they're under the stands, so they're hooked up with a mini arm clamp.
Yeah.
And it's not the most stable. Fans are bouncing on it the whole time. Beer could get spilled on it.
And you saw it slipping.
Yeah, it's a big risk at our building putting your gear there because like the beer can go flying and land on. So like I cover it I'm not kidding.
That's kind of awesome.
It's literally when you walk on the grates down by the ice, my camera's under it.
Oh, I'm sure.
So like I cover it and stuff like that, but that is where it is. And in terms of trial and error, there's so much that could go wrong with the dasher. Like the snow can get on it. And we try to have our ice crew clean it in between TV timeouts and stuff like that. But that's where our dashers are located. You could see the cutouts on the TV if you're watching at home, and that's where they are.
That's wild. And this is actually a good question. Steve Land is asking, since they own the images, what's the rule for posting on social? Like, is there usage rights you have?
So all my posts, I just say photos taken for NHL and New York Rangers. Covers the bases.
You're not making money from the post.
No, I'm allowed to use them on social. You could use it to like promote yourself on there. And it's a recap of the game. They prefer that I post images that they have already posted.
Fair.
They don't like when I'm first. The problem is they don't always use the shots I send, and it's a killer shot. So I still post what I want to post. And, but yeah, that's how it works. I just make sure that I say like the photos are shot for who they're shot for. And I can use them on my social.
Tell you, that's the worst. When you do a job as a pro and they take like the one image you want, you got paid, everyone's like, great. And I'm like, yeah, but there's like 8 shots that were like amazing that you didn't use and they go nowhere. I got this one shot for a mag cover with a goldfish. I'm not going to go into this, but I think about it all the time. Emma, what happened to that shot? Anyway.
Well, to your point. So my overheads, a lot of times I actually shoot them on strobe. I think there's a few images on there that show it.
Let's see if we can find it.
If you go back down a little bit, I think. So that's the dasher right there. Up, Trocheck in the middle one. Yep. So that's the dasher. So you see how it's at ice level?
Yeah.
So that's the dasher. If you go down, keep going a little bit. So that's the overhead. That's unavailable though.
Yeah. Well, obviously,
but I mean,
what
come
a
on,
cool angle, man.
It's an amazing angle.
You know how many Sports Illustrated covers were like overhead hockey? Like it was crazy.
Trying to find one that's dry. I know there's one coming up, I believe. If you
got some
keep
boxing
going
in there.
down.
What's going on? They all got their phones out? Is that what that is?
It's all the phones, the lighting for playoffs. I'll tell you the best thing about hockey while we're that image right there, the middle one, top row. This is what hockey's all about. Look at the fan on the left.
Yeah.
It's playoff.
Yeah.
You got the Devils fans, hands in their heads. Rangers fans cheering. Like nothing beats the hockey atmosphere.
I mean, you're telling a story, you know?
That's the story, right? So still wish I could. That one right there. So strobed overhead, middle.
Oh, middle.
One back. Yep, right there.
Oh, yeah, you can see it. Yeah.
So these I can transmit live because it takes about 70 photos per game. Whereas if it's on available light, it'll be like 2,000 photos and it floods our editor with too many images.
Yeah.
So when I'm on available light, I get the cards at the end of the game, the memory cards at the end of the game. But social media has already made all their posts for the day. So those killer overhead shots I have don't go anywhere. Those photos will like never get used. So I try to get them as quick as possible. But that's why I still post images I want to because sometimes they just don't get used.
Wild. Like, wouldn't you want to be like, because you got like a week that you can bleed out images into the world. Like, why not just keep on dropping images?
No, our social does a good job, but it's just the fact that I get them late that.
And is that the strobes?
No, that's actually just that's just the ambient light.
Man, look at that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And you can tell by the way that there's like a star going on from the lights that you are closed down pretty tight. So you're probably at like F9, F11 somewhere in there.
No, these I'm at 5.6, I think.
That's not closed down to get that star effect.
It's at 5.6. It's a piece of plexi, and they have a lot of cuts in them, so you tend to like get a little bit of starring on them. You get a weird.
That's kind of cool though.
So there's some that are wide, and all the lights will be like that, and it looks sick sometimes. So sometimes it's bad, sometimes because you could get that light if he was in front of it, the light will take him out of the photo. So it can ruin it, but it could also help it.
Lindsay Adler is like, I'm going to go shoot hockey now. I need all these star filters that are built in. I mean, it's really cool because I think people can get really bored with stick, puck, guy getting hit, but like
you won't see, if you look through, you won't see usually just a shot of a guy skating with a puck. I try not to do that. I try to post just like emotional or moments.
Jeez.
That's what I focus on. Most people can get a shot of a guy skating with the puck. I do get those because I load them, send them to Getty. They're important, but that's the moment I'm looking for, right? Yeah. That's what I post. That's what I'm looking for during the game. And
that's like a Gatorade commercial.
Love it.
Yeah. So what's going on? No Olympics? What's up? Huh?
If I had an Olympic sport to shoot, I would love to do hockey. That's my goal one day. Other than that, I don't.
Oh, wow. Nice. Yeah,
so that's with the 400. So that's what you could do with the longer lens.
Very nice. Man.
Yeah, Olympic hockey is on the schedule of things I would love to do. So hopefully one day.
Do you ever cross paths with other team photographers? Like you just kind of like eyeball each other and just kind of be like,
they're all friendly. I know most of them. There's a lot of new ones around the league that I haven't met.
Yeah.
That I'm looking forward to meeting. New York is a big stop for teams, and a lot of the other photographers travel with their teams, so they come to our building and I meet them, and everyone's great. It's a small community.
There's no Anchorman fight. I'm expecting like
we joke around. It's like, are we going to be enemies during this round of the playoffs? Or like, I can't like your photo, but no, we're all friendly. We try to be friendly. We help each other out. If I know someone's coming in, I'll set them up with a seat at the rink. I'll secure them a photo spot, and then they do the same for me.
Yeah, it's important to keep community. It's not really competition because you're both shooting for a different job almost, basically, right?
Yep.
Do you get approached by anyone that's outside of a team to shoot for the same? Like if you're like for example, if there was like a video game that was trying to get like newer shots or something like that, have you been approached to shoot like curated shots?
I'm not, but if someone wants to, you could always reach out to me.
I mean, I feel like so much can be curated now for other reasons. It doesn't have to be live game shots. It's crazy that you're not doing that.
That's the Rangers and the game day stuff is my specialty. Try to be the best at one thing rather than have my hand in 20 different things.
I mean, my favorite is, I'm pulling this up. I don't care. I'm pulling it up.
Okay, go for it.
So what I like about this is Jared, to cleanse his palate, is like, I need something else to shoot. And what does he do? He does macro of a reef tank that he has.
So I'd say a reef tank. It has no fish. It has inverts and corals. When I was young, I wanted to be a marine biologist. So this is like my second passion. I love this. Science caring for these, but the colors that nature produces and the things that nature produces is just crazy. And so I put on an orange filter to counter the blue light. It's usually a lot of blue light. And you can get stuff like that.
But I just love how like you're like, all right, I shoot hockey all day. I need something that's not hockey. And you found it. Because look, I'm burnt out half the time I'm alive.
Yep.
And I'm always like, I don't want to shoot another zombie. I don't want to shoot another alien. Like, what am I going to shoot?
I don't want to shoot another warm-ups, if I'm being honest with you. If I have to shoot one more.
Isn't it the same exact thing?
Warm-ups is the same thing. I try to do different things, but like once end of December comes each season, I'm like, I'm not even going down for warm-ups.
So is that where you can try out a new assistant? Can you be like, you shoot the warm-ups?
We just don't have other people.
No.
And our other photographers doing sponsorship things and other things around the building. The problem is I get asked a lot if someone could shadow, if they could trail, but the credential situation at MSG, you have to be a league partner. It's very hard to get people in. I would love to help out everybody that wants to come and learn and shadow. New York's a different animal. Madison Square Garden's a different animal. The security's crazy. Like, even if I got you there to stand next to me at the glass, you'll be hounded by security the whole time. It's just very hard to do that. So I usually try to get 1 or 2 shots of warm-ups, and then I go back, I eat some food, get ready for the game.
Every sports guy should have a creative outlet. The combat, repetitive nature of sports, says Kurt, and I believe it. I think anything anyone shoots gets repetitive, and you get stuck in these sand traps of going like, okay, I go on autopilot. It's a standard I'm okay with putting out there, but you're not pushing, you're not caring.
Yeah.
It's a job at some point, guys. Like, it really is. I don't know how else to put it.
So I grew up watching the Rangers. I'm a diehard fan. I'm lucky. I don't take it for granted. Like, I cherish that I get to do this every day as my job, but it's still a lot of work at the end of the day too.
Absolutely.
So to be able to do the fish tank thing, and I could spend 4 hours trying to get a shot I want or whatever. It's just
tranquil.
Diversify my work. And
so what is a day? What is a day? Like, what time do you have to get there before a game? What time do you get out of there?
That'll be good to touch on. So I actually commute from New Jersey, so my day's a little bit longer. Trust me, if I could live closer, I would. But so my day,
at least it's not Staten Island.
I'll start with what time I need to be done setting up. 5:30 is my cutoff game for a 7 o'clock game.
Okay.
Want to have everything done by then. So if I know I'm going to be doing a lot of remotes, I'll leave my house to between 12:30 and 1. If I'm doing one remote or no remotes, I'll leave like 2:30. I get into the building. First thing I do, hook up to the strobes, make sure they're working.
Right.
If they're not, I need to go get help from the electricians, fix whatever's going on. I need those working for the game. That's the first thing I do.
And that's a variable of time. You don't know how long that might take. Right?
There could be an issue with a breaker that they need to reset. Yeah. I don't know what. It could be something as silly as someone stepped on the cord and unplugged it, but you don't know. I could go up and take a look, but I'm not an electrician, so I let them deal with that.
You're also not in the union, buddy.
Not in the union.
Not in the union.
So that's the first step. Make sure that's working. Next step is kind of take a few minutes, get my captions set up. Code replacement. I put in all the names, make sure the captions are good, ready to go. The league sends you for each game. We need shots of these 4 players. Take a note of who they need, any storylines happening, if someone's going to score their 200th goal.
Yeah.
If, whatever, they're a rookie and they're making their start. So look for moments like that. Then I go into my remotes, set those up. Usually takes an hour and a half to set those up. 5:30 rolls around, grab some food, go turn all the cameras on right before fans walk in the door. Then warm-ups. Game starts, and then during the game, the biggest thing, warm-ups during the game. My photos, I take note in my head. I'm my own editor. Most photographers have a photo editor. So I'm doing all the work myself, editing, sending to Getty. So I make note of like the moment. If I got the shot, I'll tag it. TV timeout hits. I run to my computer, which is like 10 steps behind me. Caption, put the names in, put what happened, like it. Mika Zibanejad skates with the puck, first period. Send it out to Getty. Get back to my seat, shoot the game. And that is my game day in a nutshell.
It's a long day. You got to be the first one in, last one out.
I get home a lot of times 2 a.m.
Yeah, but
I leave at noon and I get home at 2. I leave the building a lot of times 12:30 at night.
But it's done at that point. You've already delivered.
It's done. I'm just taking down remotes.
Right.
I'm taking cards up because remotes normally at another building could stay up. So the games, we could have a home game Monday, Wednesday. But at Madison Square Garden, Tuesday, there's a concert.
Right. Yep.
There's basketball.
Yep.
That remote, I don't want to leave up, nor should it stay up during those events. So I need to take it down, and then I do it all over again the next day. So if we have a dark day and I know nothing's going on, I could leave it. But make sure that stuff's down so the days are long, but it's rewarding.
But the biggest question is, do you get to ride the Zamboni? Because you get to...
So I've never ridden the Zamboni. They're great guys. They're great guys. They're great guys. I've shot the Zamboni many times. Family members, cousins, my fiance, they've all drove on the Zamboni. They love it. Maybe it's something we'll set up, but I'm mostly photographing moments of them.
You got to get married on the Zamboni.
Be cool. Would be cool. She probably wouldn't mind that, to be honest.
That's a good girl, man.
She's probably watching. She might even reply and say, "Let's do it."
That'd be amazing. Are you kidding? Oh man, I mean, we're hitting time here, but like, this is great. I mean, you're one of 30 some odd people that get to do what you do. You're living the dream that you worked for. This has just happened to you. You got in there, you worked it, you wanted it, you found a way in, you worked hard, proved you could do it, and then went and shot it.
You need a little luck and the right timing as well, but a little bit of hard work and showing people what you could do and going about things the right way. I didn't go in asking, get me a credential.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff helps. So,
but if you didn't come through, you wouldn't have lasted this many seasons. Let's be real, right? Like, I mean, you're coming through for real.
And on strobes, like that's my biggest thing. I take pride in. I could go shoot available during the games, but I take pride in my strobe work and being able to time it. And when I get that moment, I could be like, I got that moment. There's a shot in there. It's probably too late. It's very far down, so you don't even have to look. But it's another big hit that happened. It's from a few seasons ago. It was way down there, but he actually like knocked the guy out on the hit, and it was at the other end of the ice. And I don't think one other person got the shot, and I have it on strobes. And everyone's like, the fact that you got it on strobes, and in that moment, that's what I take.
It's clean, yeah.
Pride in, and that's my focus, honestly, during the game.
That happened in my BMX career. There was we called it the Ghetto Jam. It was basically a makeshift skate park out of garbage. Back then, it was a different world. This kid went probably like 10, 12 feet up on a wall and came straight down right into his face, broke his nose into his face. Everyone stopped shooting.
Yeah.
I was the only one that just kept on shooting, and I got into Dig BMX magazine with those shots, and it kept me in relationship because I was the only one in that story. It sucks, but at some point you have to realize I'm not an EMT. Someone else is going to get there that's proper.
Sadly, it's a moment that happens. I try to be respectful, and if there's an injury, like 1 or 2 photos be done.
You don't want the down moment. You don't want to hurt them as a person, but you're documenting
like, don't get them
happened.
writhing in pain on the ground. But like if they're getting stretchered off or something, like someone's using that photo. There was a big injury to a Tampa player, and my photo of him being stretchered off was used, but like I didn't get him on the ground with like his teammates and the guy, and like he's in pain. Like you just get the moment before, after.
You get the moment that tells the story but doesn't demean the person. But keep working. That's what I've learned is like, you're there to do this, then keep doing that. You know what I mean? Like he was, in my case, he was surrounded by 20 other people that couldn't do anything either. So they got that covered.
Yep.
Let me do my job. Anyway,
it's a very hard industry, but I would say like if you're looking to get in, it's like my biggest message is like the internships, contacts, and don't be afraid to ask to like edit and get in that way first and learn a different route. It's not always about shooting,
right?
To get in.
Be a little humble.
Exactly.
Ooh, guys, this was a good one. Just really quick housekeeping here tonight, 5 p.m. We're going to be doing photo critique. And if you didn't submit, that's cool. You can still come hang out for the discussion. Fill these chairs like we used to all back in the day. Me and Daniel don't be here live. And trust me, me and him go fisticuffs. It's pretty funny. Anyway, thanks so much for coming on, man. I hope we get to do more stuff with you. I think it'd be really cool to really get you to do a talk in here or maybe do some workshops or whatever would be kind of cool.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Let's do it. I mean, could go on for another hour about stuff. I'm sure there's people that have a lot more questions. So let's
leave them in the comments
at some point.
Yeah, just leave them in the comments. He'll watch it. Trust me. He's going to talk those comments like crazy. Don't forget to follow him over here. And listen, I really want to say thanks to Sandus for sponsoring this episode. And of course, Gotham Roasters for keeping me alive today. We will see you guys on the next one. Remember, Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern. If you're into this episode, there's 33 other episodes of this on this playlist. Hit subscribe. Don't forget to smash that like button. And we will see you next time. Later, guys.